Now that we're all caught up on the points, we'll go ahead and introduce the episode number 19
Boom.
of The Verdict. I went ahead, I didn't put too much effort into finding a guest just because it hasn't been just me and you on here for a while,
Right.
and I didn't want people to get too accustomed to people coming in and going out. But we got more guests planned, more on the way. Still a potential opportunity for someone to sit in this third seat permanently,
Yeah.
do what they do. I also had a couple ideas about that I think some people might be interested in, but we'll get to that in a second. So
Right.
first thing on the list, this happened, I think, yesterday. Not yesterday for those of you listening, but yesterday for those of us in the real world. A shooting at a church in Texas. I want to say that the death count is actually up to 26 or 28.
Yeah, I heard 26 this morning. So.
Okay. So as of this morning, 26 people dead. Do you actually know what happened?
I know that from what I heard, people were having church. A gentleman was dressed in all black tactical gear, walked into church, shot it up. There was a nearby resident who had a weapon, and he shot at the terrorist, and
he killed him?
Did not kill him. He got away. The gunman got away and eventually committed suicide.
He committed suicide.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hearing.
He committed suicide.
So
he didn't want to engage in gunfire with the other guy.
Yeah,
but he left and went and shot himself.
Exactly. And get this, some of his family members who attended that church didn't even show up that day.
They didn't. So none of his family showed up that day.
He was sending allegedly he was sending text messages telling his family members what he was going to do.
And they didn't tell the police.
They ain't show up or nothing. And it's crazy because he was in the Air Force. He got kicked out of the Air Force. It was discharged. He even spent some time military in the Marshall jail. He has history of abusing his girlfriend and just bad behavior, bad conduct in the military. So there were signs of him being unstable. Call it what you want it. You can call it mental instability. Still, that's still an attack on people to instill terror in their hearts and minds. Killed innocent people. Even there was a woman who was even pregnant, man, and she died. So I mean, it's sad, man. It's truly sad.
Damn, that is cray.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll find out more details. I guess we'll update you next week. But for what we know right now,
between now and the information that we get next week, how likely do you think that what classification do you think that they'll give this guy? Is he going to be classified as a terrorist?
Negative.
So he's getting the lone wolf classification.
He's gonna get the gunman classification. The shooter is gonna be known as a massacre, not a terrorist attack. I can always point to it's because he's white, but let's be real here. You look at what happened in Las Vegas. That's been defined as a massacre, and now you look at New York, and that's been defined as a terrorist attack because the guy was of Muslim faith. He pledged allegiance to ISIS. So it's like, wait a second. So just because he's Muslim or, he apparently or allegedly, stated that he was with ISIS, he still killed innocent people. These two other white men killed innocent people, but they're not called a terrorist. They're called a gunman or a shooter or unstable, mentally unstable human being. So it's like, why can't we call him a terrorist?
Matter of fact, while we're here, I'm going to actually look up the definition of terrorism. Because
it's not, he's Muslim, he's a terrorist. He killed people and he's a Muslim, he's a terrorist. It's like, no. Like, we can play the religion game all day because if you want to be honest, if you want to talk about the Crusades, let's be honest.
Right. So terrorism. Now, this is the Merriam-Webster definition.
Yeah.
The unlawful use of or threat of violence, especially against the state or the public, as a political motivated means of attack or coercion. Obviously, this person probably has some kind of axe to grind with either religion or family,
some
or
type of stance.
Some type of stance that he had. Otherwise, he wouldn't have just strolled into organized facility and just started, blasting. Like, what type of weapon did he use?
He had like a rifle, I'm assuming.
Right. The action of it sparked a debate. Should there be armed guards like, at churches, at the mall, at the movie theater.
It's funny you bring that up because I was actually being concerned about, the safety of my family members and friends back at my church back in, Charlotte, well, in Stanley County. I'm Gaston County, but, it brings a good conversation, but, it's almost like you want to say it's like a knee-jerk reaction because these things don't happen, almost every single day, with having weapons. I mean, yeah, it would be nice for everyone, in public areas to have weapons, but I mean, you can't protect everybody at all times.
But how better off are these people that there was that one person there who started busting back? Like,
bro,
it's rare that you hear, somebody else was there strapped and wasn't going for it.
It's rare, and I mean, it's like, everybody's going to arms and everything. I mean, it's rare, but at the same time, though, I mean, these things rarely. I mean, they're 1 in a million chances. You're more likely to die in an airplane crash than to be shot up.
This is true, but don't you think that there should be somebody there with a gun?
There should be some type of regulation. I kind of agree with that, but not like a full army like police force. Maybe like one person.
I'm thinking that somebody from the deacon board should be carrying.
Somebody should have a weapon within that building.
Right. Somebody trustworthy, whom we all know, hey, if there's a problem, this particular individual, he's packing and he's going to, he's locked and ready to,
Right, like there's a secret, like by the pew, there's like a shotgun just click, just ready. Just
what I'm saying? Somebody's ready in the case that somebody comes up in here, even if it's the pastor. Like, you could run up in there and the pastor start blasting from the pulpit.
I mean, true. But even such, man, that's really tough because, I mean, people can just be people. Anybody can, come in there strapped and just hide the gun, whether you lock the doors or not. Say if you just have somebody just rolling in, you see them every day. You see them at church every Sunday, have a gun in their back pocket. You wouldn't even know it because you're not frisking. But have you ever been to a mosque? Have you ever been there, like a Muslim mosque?
No, I've never been.
So they actually have like metal detectors and everything. They frisk you before you even get into the or until you sit down in the assembly in the main congregation, like in the sanctuary.
Was they doing that before September 11th?
I'm pretty sure they were doing that pretty much after Malcolm X got shot up, or just within that same time frame. Because I knew a friend who was part of the Nation of Islam.
That's because Muslims already know what it is.
They already know. So it's
know,
like,
these niggas is prepared.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I remember coming because my friend, she was like, yeah, come to the mosque. I thought it was just gonna be a simple walk in, like usher was gonna be standing there like, this way, sir. Like, nah, it was like I was waiting in line to be frisked, and I was like, oh shit, like this is on some like
shit. Let me take my suicide vest
like,
back to the car.
Every time I think about it, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, especially, just whenever you're coming together in an assembly like that, once you hear, get your hands out my pocket, like, pop, pop, pop. Like, I always go back to, Malcolm X, and I was like, man, that can, like, happen in real life.
It can happen in real life.
So,
it does happen.
Yeah, it does happen. I mean, you've seen it happen. You saw it happen in your hometown, Charleston.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
dude just rolled up. Bong, bong, bong.
Bong, bong, bong. So, between now and when the folks hear this episode, I predict that somebody will be outed as an assistant. Somebody helped him plan it. It's crazy, like how in just 1 year, the same thing has happened. These mass shootings, and it's like, I personally think that America. And do you remember in school when the whole class would be quiet, but there's maybe one or two individuals and they keep cutting up? Okay, so now it's no recess for nobody.
Right.
And that was a lesson that you learned early as a kid. Like, sometimes you can be in the right, but other people will fuck it up for you.
Exactly.
And that's why it's important for everybody to be responsible, because a few bad apples can ruin the whole batch.
Ruin everything.
And I personally think that right now we just not responsible enough to have guns. Nobody should have them.
No.
Let's just scoop them up. And I get people are saying like, well, I'm a responsible gun owner. Well, other people aren't.
But what happens when you take away guns from civilians? Guess who has the guns?
No, they don't have them either. You're taking them from the police too.
You're taking them from the popos too?
The police, everybody give you guns up.
Police ain't gonna like that.
All you got to do is just that, like, if you perpetrate a crime
right with
a firearm, you get the, you know what I'm saying, you get maximum penalty.
Max penalty.
You get max penalty.
Yeah.
So it's like if you do an armed robbery, we're talking about 40 years.
I think that's how London is.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's like how England is, or just Great Britain is. Like no guns.
No
Like,
guns.
No one can have a gun.
Yeah, and
like they just got a bat.
Right.
And a whistle.
And if you out there blasting guns, it's a very, very serious offense.
Yeah, definitely serious
It's
offense.
very serious, man. So
that's wild.
that's my 2 cents.
I just find it really hard seeing that America is the largest exporter of weapons. It's very hard. That's a tough conversation because the NRA is going to have something to say about that. You already know.
Shout out to our friends, the Melanated Perspective. I guess they just posted their new episode.
Word?
Yeah, like
Cool.
2 hours ago.
Okay.
I was looking on the gram to find that picture of because I was about to segue into the cuffing season. So I just seen
true.
that. They support us, so
Yeah,
if
they
you listen to
definitely
this podcast, man, make sure you check out them, The Greater Good.
Yeah, Ray, Q, Cam, all them, man.
Yeah, check out Melanated Perspective, The Greater Good, What You Mean.
I was listening to What You Mean earlier today too, man.
Oh, word?
Yeah, man. They just what was the name?
Lily?
Lumini? Yeah, I was listening to that episode. Yeah.
I had Lillian on and Friends mad early.
Oh, okay. Mad cool, man.
She's probably one of the coolest individuals. She's agreed to do this podcast.
Yeah.
She's ready and waiting.
She actually has a really nice voice. I just followed her on Instagram. She followed me back, so thank you. Follow back.
You got a new fan, Lillian. But
hey, you got a nice voice, Lillian. So I ain't even fronting, girl.
Lillian,
nice
voice. She's a very thoroughbred individual. She likes to tell me. She likes to. I guess she called herself telling me like how things really are when we do talk. We went to Carolina School of Broadcasting together.
Okay.
So we got a history. But yeah, she's doing her thing. She was doing the podcast for a while. She's got this. Well, I'm guessing if you listen, and I'm guessing she spoke about Mad Bitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, Mad Bitter.
Man, she's dope, man. So
yeah, so shout out to Lillian, shout out to the podcast queens and my homies. I can't remember their fucking names, but shout out to the podcast queens. Y'all know who y'all is. I'm gonna tag y'all. They support us too. And just shout out to everybody doing the podcast right now. I know
ton of y'all.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. So now that we've progressed to a point in cuffing season, we kind of it kind of died down because initially when we brought it up, scouting had just ended. So when we started talking about cuffing season, which was like the middle of September,
right,
most people had already determined who they had a list or a report of who they wanted to spend the holidays with.
Right.
If you was a female, you was like, damn, I can't wait to go, Carolyn with this nigga. And, if you was a dude, you was like, I wonder what she, I wonder what she want for Christmas and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So by the time we started talking about it, you should have been initiating.
Pretty much doing a little scouting, little tryouts and all that good stuff.
You shooting your shot. You sliding in the DMs with the hey, dot. Or, right. Or you see a funny post. And then so you got something smart to say about it, or you know what I'm saying? Or you just hitting them off or whatever,
doing a little filler outers and all that good stuff.
Whatever's in your arsenal.
Yeah.
You've been on a couple of dates with these people. You know whom you want to deal with.
These are facts.
Some of those people have fallen off. So
Definitely.
right now we're in the preseason of cuffing season. This is preseason, the month of November.
Right.
I mean, you're about to be going on. If you're participating in cuffing season, you're about to be going on hella dates.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to be meeting the fam.
Oof.
Probably the extended fam. So uncles and brothers.
Yeah. Not mom and dad. You don't want to. Yeah, that's too. That's too early in the season right now.
But we're spending a lot. People are spending a lot of time with their family. So it's like, hey, you can come along with us. Me and my uncle are going Christmas shopping. Or my brother, my sister,
or even just a double date with one of your friends or something like that.
That's happening too. Double dates are happening.
Double
so that
dates
way
definitely happen.
The friend can also go ahead and sign off on if you're worth pursuing or not.
Right.
So you got for all you people out there participating in cuffing season, you got to the end of November. By the end of November, you really want to have locked it down who you about to be spending your time with. Cuffing season is going to last from about December 1st to January 15th. That's when, the season lasts.
Right.
We've already now covered Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Yeah.
So cuffing season, that's the season. It's those holidays,
Right.
It kind of starts with Labor Day, and then,
Right.
maybe Halloween, but definitely Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Right.
If you're spending a lot of time, and some of you might be participating in cuffing season and don't know.
Right. You might be getting trapped.
Right.
Y'all think y'all chilling, but you actually.
Right. Really, you're on the team.
Yeah.
You're on the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you'll find out eventually.
You will find out. And we'll talk more about this as it approaches. But right now, we're just going to focus on preseason. So do you personally have any horror stories? Has there ever been a time when, you were on the cusp of about to fuck with a person, but then
shit to start hitting the fan?
Right, shit start hitting the fan.
I remember I was trying to get to know this chick, man, and she was really mad cool. We went out on a date, everything was straight, you know what I'm saying? But one time she came over to cook, and she was like, yeah, I can cook and everything. So I was like, all right. What you gonna cook? She was like, I'm gonna cook some chicken for you, just having you a full meal. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm over there, just playing, the Xbox, letting her do her, in the kitchen and everything. So, she was like, all right, dinner ready. So, I walk over, I look at the chicken, I'm inspecting it. I'm like, all right. She got the vegetables, cooked and everything. So, I'm like, all right, cool. I sit down, I bite into the leg of the chicken. Tell me why the chicken was still cold, my nigga.
Nigga, cold?
It was still cold. So I pull back and I look at it. I see the red. I see red, a dark red. I was like, yo, she only cooked the extra. She ain't cooked this chicken long enough. So yeah, I wasn't too alarmed. You know what I'm saying? I was like, maybe it was just, just that one piece of chicken. So, I got my second piece, thinking, all right, let's see what this is about. I was strategic with it. I used a knife. And I just cut, and same thing, man, just cold, still undercooked. And I was like, all right, I'm done. If you're gonna be hanging out with me for cuffing season, and you putting on this claim that you can cook and everything, best believe I'm expecting you to cook, not all the time, but damn it, at least twice within that, month or so. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to cook all the fucking time.
Let's move away from because some people think that, oh, you can't fuck up chicken. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can fuck up chicken.
You can fuck it up. So let's move away from it. There are things that's very hard to fuck up. Spaghetti
is very hard to fuck up.
Very hard to fuck up.
If you can't cook some noodles,
right,
and cook some ground beef, there's issues.
Right. And then on top of that, not only is it so hard to fuck up, but it's also very easy to salvage.
Yeah,
there's some shit in the cabinet you can salvage.
Yeah, you
some
got
shitty
seasoning.
Yeah,
the Lowry's, the Mrs. Dash. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So,
oh man, but yeah, that was horrible, man. It kind of ruined me because that was the first time she ever cooked for me. So whenever you cooking chicken or something that I like and you fuck it up, it's like. Oh no! I'm gonna have to reach back and go to the bench real quick.
Right. Right. I'm gonna have to do substitution. Substitution.
Hey man.
Hey, listen.
That's what preseason is for.
That's what it's all about. If she doesn't step up that chicken game by the end of the, you know what I'm saying, or if she had an opportunity to step up the chicken game,
she does.
But because maybe your chicken game fucked up, she should have came right back with some banana pudding or some type of dessert. If she had came through with a dessert after fucking up the chicken, then it would have been like, damn, I do want that banana pudding though.
Yeah, right. But I wish we had a woman in here just to tell me whenever you're cooking for somebody, do you just make just a main course or do you do the main course and then just some dessert at the end?
Just the main course.
Just the main course.
These women be lazy.
Bruh.
No vegetable on the plate.
They ain't like mama, bruh.
Right. This one course meal, no dessert, no vegetable, no side. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's some mac and cheese, best believe there's a Velveeta box getting cracked open.
Right. Like the Easy Mac though. Like I remember seeing people eating the Easy Mac in college. Like you better upgrade from Easy Mac when you make a mac and cheese.
Right, like come on.
I
Like,
need to see some crust like on my mac and cheese. Like it better not.
Have you seen that macaroni appreciation post?
Nah, I haven't seen. Oh, with the yeah, I've
with
seen
old
that.
buddy, and he was saying how he unfriends niggas like that. Like, they don't value his friendship, serving him macaroni from a bowl. Like,
You
come
can't,
on,
bro.
All right, so
That's crazy.
cuffing season right now. We're in preseason, so
Yes.
y'all should be dating. Y'all should be going out on dates.
Yeah, make sure you know you get all because scouting, that's pretty much where you're supposed to get all your information. But preseason is especially important because you get to see them perform.
Right, you get to see them perform.
You get to see how they act. So you know what I'm saying.
Men, you should be. This is mandatory. You should be riding around in the whip with baby wipes.
Baby wipes.
With baby wipes and with maybe some talcum powder, some cologne.
Oh, okay. I got you.
You need to be able
tracking.
to if you need to you need to be able to freshen up on the way from here to here.
Ah, yes.
You know what I'm saying? At least for the month, because maybe you met somebody for and women the same way. I don't know what y'all carry, but same thing. Maybe you met somebody for lunch. But after work, you going out, you don't want to go all the way home, because I can promise you, this weekend is going to be the same. Next week it's going to be the same.
Right.
You need to keep some freshening up items on your person.
Definitely.
Speaking of some holiday festivities, we got the Verdict Podcast first live event.
Yes.
Which so we are planning an ugly sweater party, for the month, in the month of December at some particular time when it's appropriate.
Right.
We'll have an ugly sweater theme party. If you've never been, basically find the ugliest Christmas sweater you can.
Right.
And the uglier the better, because this particular event we are judging you based off of the sweater. I'm not sure what the criteria is going to be yet, but you will be judged, and there is an opportunity to leave the building with somebody's going to leave with some cash.
Yeah.
A few people are going to leave with some cold hard cash. I imagine that a lot of connections will be made on this particular evening, because we're expecting a very huge turnout. So it's likely that you'll see some people you've never seen before.
Right.
I'm actually inviting some of my some higher profile names. I'm going to invite. They'll be in the building to mingle. So I'm working on that as well. So just to give the people of the area. Especially this Raleigh-Durham area, they're very supportive as far as coming out, depending on where the event is. We're in the process now of finding venues. Once we do, we'll announce more details as follows. But it will be in the Triangle area, Raleigh-Durham, ugly sweater party. Wear your ugliest sweater. I'll be there, but of course I won't win the money.
I was about to say, what are the prizes, Splash?
Well, for first place, that particular individual with the ugliest sweater at the occasion will leave the building with $500 in cash. $500 in cash. Yeah. The person who's deemed to have the second ugliest sweater will leave the building with $250 in cash. And 5 individuals who had honorable mentions will leave the building with $50 in cash.
Do I really have to work that night? Can I just be a bystander and just come in there and just with my ugly sweater so I can get some of this cash? Like,
I mean, we're working to be done. I mean, we're gonna be parlaying. We're gonna be drinking. I'm gonna make sure to have like some portion of the room section off for like beer pong, drinking games. I'll have some,
got the eggnog flowing too, man. Definitely.
Right. We'll have like maybe some wine, some beers, but that eggnog, that's gonna be what you want.
Definitely.
The eggnog. I'm working on, brand new eggnog recipe, that I hope to, do for years and years and become known for, my eggnog. So,
all right.
Eggnog, it's not something that I can drink a whole lot of, but I do like to drink it around the holidays.
Hey,
And then, if you make it right, it warms you up on a cold night.
definitely.
Hopefully, I'm trying to pick the coldest night I can. We're going to be in sweaters, and we're going to be drinking eggnog. So I'm trying to pick the coldest night I can to have this party on. Keep a lookout for that. One of the major announcements of this particular episode. Another major announcement, for those of you guys who don't know, behind the scenes, several other individuals have been twisting my arm. Twisting it hard.
Hey, man. You got to do it to get things popping.
To get this podcast on iTunes.
Yeah.
Initially, I put up some resistance because I do have a plan. However, I do think that it is time, and it is well within my plan to go ahead and put it on iTunes. So it won't happen with this episode, and it probably won't happen with the next, but it will happen soon. Definitely the Verdict Podcast coming to iTunes, and you watch what happens after this podcast goes to iTunes. I still got a lot of tricks in the bag I haven't even pulled out yet. I'm just establishing a foundation
A platform.
before I go and start adding on, because I haven't even gotten to the intro music. We don't even have an intro or an outro.
We do not.
So
we do not. We just have sound bites.
We do.
Well, pretty much at the end, but yeah.
We'll need that.
Yeah.
We can't proceed, so for everybody asking, I can't proceed. I can't just be on iTunes with no intro music.
Right.
Maybe I can slide with no outro, because it's going to take a while to come up with the outro. I feel like, the intro and the outro for And Friends were very good. I want to top that in every way. So that means that we got about 2 weeks to come up with an intro.
Okay.
If you know people, if you heard something, we'll bounce some ideas around, and we'll just be, soaking things up. But we definitely need to come up with an intro. So if you're a producer, if you're a rapper, if you're a DJ, if you're a singer, if you're an artist, if you're another podcaster, and you want to make our intro, I'll pay you if I like it.
Right.
I'll pay you if I like it.
Shit, now I got to get back in the lab and see if I can come up with something for an intro down. Okay.
Right. Hit us up on Insta. Hit us up on the gram at The Verdict Podcast. Hit us up on SoundCloud at The Verdict Podcast. You can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at House of Splash.
Okay.
I'm usually lurking around on one of those sites, and I'll get back with you. So hit us up at The Verdict Podcast on Instagram and SoundCloud. You can follow me personally, Instagram and Twitter at House of Splash. You want to go ahead and give them your handles real quick?
You go ahead and follow me at I am Wes Taylor on SoundCloud, Instagram, and also on Twitter.
I bet. After that, we'll end with the two most that's kind of like a double. We'll end with that. But before we move on, I wanted to talk about some new releases. As far as music, what's coming up, what's going to be released when they hear this, and what's coming up, what just came out. So first, we'll talk about movies first. I was telling everybody that I saw Jigsaw, like Halloween weekend, I don't know. I think that was Halloween weekend. So that was like last weekend, I guess, when I saw Jigsaw. It's so trash. I mean, it's not so trash.
So trash? I heard
it's
it was
not
good.
So trash. I liked it, but it was just like, oh my God, why y'all doing this? Are you familiar with like the Saw franchise?
Yeah, pretty much he finds like people who did something bad, and then he tries to teach them a lesson.
Right, very violently.
Right.
He teaches them, lessons through self-mutilation and, self-preservation. He also himself had cancer. So at times he had assistants, and these individuals were in positions to, cover their tracks or, remain anonymous until they abused their powers. There was that one guy who was helping him. He actually started abusing his position, and then he fell victim to one of the traps himself. I don't remember his name. But this movie basically tries to not insinuate, but it basically tries to get you to believe that there was actually another helper all along.
Because it was him and old girl at first.
Who you talking about? John? You talking about Jigsaw?
Yeah.
Right. He had the girl at first, and then the girl was linked to the other male, the other guy. I forget both of their names.
Yes,
they're both dead.
Have so many. Yeah.
Right. They're both dead. But what happened is that a new person has taken on the mantle, and he was going after this police officer who used his position to kind of like oh well, what happened was, and see that's another reason I don't like it, because eventually it got so personal. Like in the beginning, he was going after people who were like very fucked up individuals. But in this particular movie, he's pissed off with the guy because his wife was killed by like this ex-gangbanger.
Right.
And the police got rid of some evidence to let him walk because he's an informant. So he was pissed off with the guy, basically saying, oh, you know, you do this and you do that, so now I'm going to kill you. And I'm just like, yo, that's kind of fucked up, man. Like, who made you God in these situations? Like, why do you get to decide? Like, I mean, so long story short, when you're watching Jigsaw, and now's the part to pause if you don't want a spoiler alert, but the blonde dude is Jigsaw.
Oh, okay.
The blonde dude, the blonde doctor, and he's a doctor, and there's like some subtle giveaways that you can kind of figure out. And if you're familiar with the series, they kind of rehashed a couple of their tricks. But basically just being familiar with the series, the franchise, I was able to identify right away.
Like
okay,
who was who?
I wasn't able to pinpoint who Jigsaw was, but I was able to pinpoint. Okay, this person is out of place in this situation.
Pretty much predictable. Pretty predictable.
You know, there were a couple of shocks and a couple of twists and turns caught me off guard, but for the most part, I'm kind of a movie buff though. But for the most part, I was able to figure it out.
True.
Outside of that, Thor Ragnarok is in theaters now. I haven't seen it yet, but this movie is, which is strange because Thor 1 and Thor 2 aren't people's favorites when it comes to Marvel movies. But Thor 3 Ragnarok is one of the highest rated superhero movies of all time. So people really love it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's because Marvel now has a lot of comedy in the movies. They're not as serious as they were once upon a time. So there's a lot of like the characters are almost caricatures of themselves.
Right.
You know, Thor is now he started off so serious and so gloomy, and now he makes these jokes about being serious and gloomy.
Yeah.
It's like it's very funny because it's like, you know, he's joking on himself, and we've seen this character. So you know, they said basically if this is the last time. It's not the last time we're going to see him as Thor, but if this is the last Thor solo movie, it was easily better than the other. It's not only better than the other two, but it's better than many of the other Marvel movies.
Right.
Is what the reviews are saying. It's getting very good reviews.
And I'm interested in seeing how the one of the actresses, she actually played in Dear White People.
Dear White People. Oh, they said that she was one of the highlights of the movie.
Oh, really?
And that to the point that there's some rumblings she could possibly get her own solo movie. Like that's how like hard she killed it.
That's pretty good.
I know the actress. I know the actress you're referring to.
Yeah,
she killed it in Dear White People, and she's also in a couple other movies that, you know, she does pretty good in. But they were basically just saying that she just every time she's on screen.
Yeah, because she was in what was the movie? It was the boxing movie. It was I
remember the boxing movie.
Apollo
Creed?
Apollo Creed.
Yeah, she was his girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
But she was in another movie where she was the lead, and she did well in that. So she has a bright future in front of her. She's also part of the Issa Rae.
Oh, she's in that group? Okay. So we could possibly, not to say we will, but she might show up on
Insecure.
On Insecure season 3.
I'm sure the only reason she hasn't been on Insecure is because of scheduling conflicts.
Probably.
But she's definitely, when Issa be having the lemon pepper and chicken kickbacks, she be there. Her Lil Howie, Lil Rail, he be up in there, Molly and all them.
Nice,
so we'll see. We'll be seeing more of her. She's a part of the cabal now. You know, the black collective.
Nice.
Nice. So there's this documentary on Netflix that Crystal was watching the other day.
Right.
Basically, it was about a 14-year-old who was sexually assaulted by some 17-year-olds, 16, 17-year-olds. These guys were on the football team of a local of a high school, and they were probably like, you know, they were small town celebrities.
Okay.
Everybody knew them. Everybody, you know, they were hard-working young men. They were stars of the football team. The town was really behind the football team.
Right.
So when the news broke that these individuals were, you know, being accused of sexual assault, the town was very reluctant to believe it.
Right.
And in fact, there were many of those individuals who placed the blame on the young lady, like, hey, we believe something bad may have happened to you, but you've got to accept some personal responsibility, and we don't believe that it's as bad as the things that you're saying. The case was actually tried on 2 separate occasions, and one of the gentlemen was actually the grandfather of the grandson of a state representative.
Mm.
So a lot of people believe that there was special treatment given to him. However, the second time the case was tried, the prosecutors are basically saying that they actually had to charge the guys with child endangerment, and they got probation because they didn't have enough evidence to charge them with rape, which to me I thought was kind of strange because I was like,
But you do know something bad did happen, but you give them probation.
Well, something occurred, but you don't have the evidence to prove that it was rape. And in my mind's thinking, I'm like, okay, people kind of normally prove this quite easily.
Right.
DNA. She did. Well.
Did she take a rape test?
Yes, she did. And her hymen was broken.
Oh,
so
yeah.
A sexual act occurred.
Yeah.
However, what are the circumstances? Now, apparently, some people who were there claim that this young lady was passed out, unconscious. She was drunk and couldn't give consent.
Couldn't.
So, yes, a lot of people believe that is rape. However, a lot of people also believe, well, she's a minor, he's a minor. They're both drinking under the age and both behaving like people who cannot control their alcohol.
Right.
So, had she had the wherewithal to not be in this position at 14 years old drinking, I'm like, that's kind of young to be drunk with some dudes.
Right.
I think her dad died and her mom was like, struggling to make ends meet. So she probably she probably was looking for love in the wrong places.
Probably.
Or, just didn't have enough supervision. So my thing was, because I'm kind of inclined to agree, like, and, before I go any further, let me tell you something. I've been robbed before at gunpoint.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? Like, but I wasn't at church when I got robbed.
Okay.
I wasn't at the grocery store. Well, one time I was at the grocery store, but I was behind the grocery store. It was late at night, and we were in the dark.
Right.
So I put myself in positions to be harmed, and, I could only be mad at myself. I lost money. I lost, a couple of times, this happened to me.
Right.
And, I've been with other individuals and they've been robbed. But we weren't, like I said, we weren't at church. We weren't at school. We weren't at home.
Right.
We were on Sugar Creek. We were on, North Tryon, Graham Street.
Right.
West Boulevard.
Right.
These types of places. So it's like, yes, I'm very upset that a person did something bad to me.
Right.
But I put myself in this position.
So pretty much shame on you for putting yourself in that position to be at that particular place. Anything could have happened, but you made yourself the most vulnerable in that particular location.
I made myself the most vulnerable.
But so rape and robbery, I mean, you have no control over that. However, she was drinking. Obviously, she put herself in a position where she wouldn't be able to consent. But still, rape is rape. I mean, a robbery is a robbery. It's unfortunate that you were there. You just so happened to be there while that robber was there. But at the same time, though, I've been in dark alleys. I've been, in places where it's like, if a robber were to come up on me, I'm pretty much be done with. It's just a circumstance. It's not your fault. It just so happened that you were the victim that day.
I don't know.
I think
I
so,
don't know.
man. I think so.
I don't know because and I mean, just because you're in these positions doesn't give the other person the right to do X, Y, and Z.
It doesn't.
But if you go into the snake pit, if you're in a pit of vipers, like, are you really mad? Or like, are you really mad?
First of all, if you in a pit full of vipers, how the hell did you get? From waking up out of your bed this morning, taking a shower, to a pit of vipers, like, I wasn't expecting this shit today.
The same way
hell no.
The same way that you go from waking up in bed to and taking a shower to, oh, now I'm drinking and I'm
First of all, no minor should be drinking. That's number one. So she made a mistake there of drinking, but making the mistake to being raped, believe me, those children, they could have drank, that whole entire time, and nothing would have happened.
And nothing happened. I get that. But
it can't be her fault, though.
I didn't say it was her fault. What I said was that there has to be some level
of responsibility.
Personal responsibility.
All right, so a personal responsibility, yes. You shouldn't have been drunk. Yes. That's her fault that she was drunk. But beyond that, there is some responsibility. But beyond that, though, you can't help that.
But for every action, there's a you know what I'm saying? Like,
there is a reaction, but
this is a chain based off of a decision that you made.
But at the same time, though, man, she can't help. I mean, personal responsibility of drinking, yes, but still, that was a rape, dog. Like, that was a rape. Like, someone chose to rape her. Like, she didn't choose to get raped. She chose to drink and nothing to happen after that.
But you obviously can't handle your alcohol. This is.
It's not about handling alcohol. It's about the rape.
No, I get that. What I'm saying, I mean,
she's a minor. That's why she chose to break the rules, because she thought that nothing bad was going to happen. She had full intention that nothing bad was going to happen by drinking that night.
I get that too. But you were in the wrong and something happened. I feel like you should share. You should share.
There's levels to this.
There is levels.
There's levels.
Now, trust and believe. Those young men. I take that very serious. So those young men, they should be someplace where they're not allowed to leave for a very long time.
Of course.
However, she shouldn't be able to walk away from the situation like, oh, them.
She has some part. All right. She has some part into what happened, because, she was obviously hanging out with these guys. She shouldn't have been hanging out with these guys at all. So she made the choice to hang out with these people. Yes, she has a little bit of blame. A little bit of blame can go to her. But at the same time, though, outside of that drinking,
a quarter of the blame. I have to give her a quarter of the blame.
I can't blame her for the rape part, though.
I'm not blaming her for the rape, but I am blaming you for being
the drinking.
Stupid.
For the drinking,
I'm
yeah.
blaming you for being irresponsible. I blame you for being irresponsible.
Shouldn't have been drinking. That's just, I'm not even a parent, and I know if my daughter did that, I was like, number one, you gotta choose your friends wisely.
You gotta choose. And I will say this: some of her brother's friends were not only there but also engaged in.
Oh no!
Right.
That's really fucked up.
Right, and that's fucked up. Because she probably felt that she could, she probably felt comfortable around these individuals.
Of course, because it's their brother's friends.
And her brother was actually supposed to be there, and for some reason he didn't go.
Oh, man.
And then so when he didn't go, one of the dudes, one of the, rapees, texted her and was like, hey, you should come through X, Y, and Z. I don't know what this young lady looks like. I mean, I'm guessing, he's 17, she's 14. Okay, I get it, fine. But it was kind of fucked up because some of them were her brother's friends and didn't say, and some of his friends were there and didn't say, hey, your sister's here at this party and she's drunk.
Wow.
Number one, she's drunk. And number two, it looks like she's about to get raped by one of the dudes here.
Those are not his friends.
They're not his friends. And what probably happened is that they were probably going to run some type of train on her, and some of them probably lost nerve, as it happened. So it's a very unfortunate situation. I wish she didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
However, I just wish that people, when bad things happen to you, sometimes it's your own fault.
Yeah. Yeah,
sometimes
I can agree with that.
Sometimes it's your own fault.
I can agree with that.
And and to build on that, because I'm not done isolating myself from the women audience. I'm not done. So to build on that,
hit 'em, Splash.
I get so tired. First of all, I would say 85 to 93% of the women that I follow on any particular social media, on any given moment down my timeline, their asses, front and center.
Okay.
Titties on display. Okay. Half dressed. And again, that doesn't give me any right to, I'm not calling these women, I'm not making any assumptions
that the promiscuous,
right, about
like
their lifestyle based off of a picture. However,
to be unfair to pass judgment on that.
Right. However, these are the same pictures that I'm seeing. Like when I'm watching a porn and I pause the video for any particular reason, a very similar picture comes up. Right. So it's like, what do you want me to think by seeing these things? Right,
because subconsciously they are pretty much welcoming that type of information or that type of attention.
You wouldn't post a picture with your titties out and then expect me to be like, damn, she looks like she's going places.
Right.
She look like she got a good head on her shoulders. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
I'm kind of tired of hearing like women like complain about getting dick pics. Now, what I will say this though is that every single woman most likely is getting dick pics, and that's regardless of if we posting up scantily clad pictures or not.
That's why I'm scared to have a daughter.
Like they're all, even the woman that you wouldn't touch with a 50-foot pole, she probably just got 10 dick pics, right now.
That's their daily life.
So imagine if you're very beautiful, you know what I'm saying?
You're getting them all the time.
You're getting them all the time. But how much are you exacerbating the issue by, all I'm doing is twerking in the camera, so forth and so on. Like, I don't get how you expect to make any lasting, connections when, you're putting all your physical assets on the table.
Yeah.
And I read a quote, and man, has it stuck with me since I read it. But what does a beautiful woman have to offer a blind man?
Not a damn thing.
Like,
if he can't even see you,
if he can't see you, what do you have to offer? And
thing.
And so many of these particular individuals, they have very little else to offer other than how they look.
Yeah, I can see that. I was looking at a video today, like one of my homeboys sent me on Messenger, and it was just like a video of just all these badass women. And I was just like, someplace, somewhere, there's a guy that just can't stand her.
He
ass,
can't
stand
her
like
ass.
Just because she just came in and out of his life just for one thing and one thing only. She didn't have anything to offer. She didn't want to cook or anything. She just wanted to be up on the come up.
Right.
Like, this money, that's it.
And first of all, for every bad bitch, there's a nigga tired of fucking.
Oh, man.
There definitely is at least one person who's like, yo, fuck her. I hope she dies.
Bruh.
Like,
so true.
Because, looks aren't everything. But, women have been conditioned to believe, like, so many men are going to do whatever I want based off of how I look.
Right.
So there are double standards that apply to women that don't apply to men.
True. Oh, speaking of which, though, have you seen that Tyrese shit? Like how he was crying all over?
Nah, Tyrese kind of got on. The whole thing kind of got on my nerves.
Yeah.
But I did hear that he basically was lashing out because of some type of custody agreement.
Yep.
Right. So he was lashing out at. He was mad at the world because some woman whom probably was very attractive to him on one particular night, is now a very attractive thorn in his asshole. So
$13,000 though a month.
He can afford it, but that's way too much. That's way too much.
Like, what do you do with 13?
What do you do with 13,000?
Like, I can't even spend damn near. Well, I can spend $1,000 in a month easy. That ain't nothing. But like $13,000, like, what are you buying? Like, what do you need that? You don't need that much. Like, I got family members and I got friends who are paying probably like $500 to $800 in child support for one kid. So you pretty much times 10 and then some. Like,
right?
I don't know. It just seems a lot.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, back to the situation though. But ladies,
ladies, like just like Wes told y'all last week, man, y'all gotta respect yourself. If you want respect from us, you gotta respect yourself.
Hey man, I'm telling you, like I was expecting some backlash, from somebody to be like, "What you mean?" Like when I say, when we think about the hip hop culture, just in general, like there's words that are being said that are accepted. I mean, no one's coming out and be like, "I don't like Migos because he just called me a bitch." Like, no one's really standing up for that because it's good music to you. So, but I guess where the conversation stops is like when you out there, you know, when you walking in the street, down the street or something like that, and a guy walks up to a girl and like, hey, let me holler at you. Obviously, he came off wrong to some women. You know, some women wouldn't respond to that. And he was like, fuck you, bitch. Like, I ain't like you anyway. Like, that's when it becomes an issue.
Right.
That's like, and women usually stand up for that. They were like, definitely not going to take that guy just called me a bitch. Like, that's really where I see women standing up. But as far as music and making other things acceptable, I mean, I don't know where the fucking ball or the fucking crack, you know, opened up. But it's like, y'all can't get mad, you know, when cats are, you know, disrespecting you out here, because obviously, you know, there's some woman who actually took that. So you can't blame them for being upset or, you know, being rude to you. You know, there was some woman along the way that was, you know, that said, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, don't get, it's not that you can't get offended, but, you know, just know that somewhere along the way, obviously I want you to ignore it, but just know that somewhere, somehow, that was accepted in that guy's life, and that's why he's coming off at you wrong. So,
real quick, because we actually got off on a tangent. We forgot to talk about.
Oh yeah, my bad.
No, it was mine because I jumped ship to another topic.
Yeah.
So we forgot to finish up with movies, new releases. So we talked about Jigsaw. We talked about Thor. Did we talk about Thor? We did, right?
We talked about Thor. So I think the only thing we really didn't talk about was like the music releases.
All right, so we'll finish up there. Some music releases. I sent you the list from Double XL.
Yeah, man.
You know, Problem has. I don't know if you listened to Problem.
He was actually on Shade 45 like late last weekend, and actually earlier today on Laura Sears special. Pretty much promoting his album. So Selfish is about to come out.
Yeah, Selfish
this weekend. Or actually, it's already out.
Selfish came out last week. Wiz Khalifa, he's dropping a tape.
Right.
This Friday, he'll when you hear this episode, Wiz Khalifa, if you still listen to him for whatever reason, he'll have some new music.
He just talks about smoking weed all the time.
It's really, and as a person who loves to smoke weed a lot, I'm kind of tired of it. I mean,
like with Kush and Orange Juice, that was like great. Like him and Currency, all they talk about is like smoking weed.
That's
and
it.
It's
like, come on, anything else? Nothing else? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're ready for this.
What's up?
Shaq is dope.
Who is Shaq is dope? We ain't talking about Shaq. Like,
are we not?
Oh, we're not talking about Shaquille O'Neal, are we?
Okay, then skip. Then. Are we not? I thought we were, but maybe we're not. I don't know. Somebody reach out and tell us who Shaq is dope is, because when I'm just scrolling through this list,
not Shaquille O'Neal.
I got excited because he put that song out or whatever, right?
Yeah, he did. But
have you heard it?
Yeah, I heard it.
I didn't listen to it, but I'm definitely
watched the video. But still, I don't.
I'm definitely gonna link to some portion of it.
But real talk though, now that we on the topic, when Shaq did make music, he actually went platinum.
He went like double platinum. Like Shaq Fu, that nigga was making hits. You talking about you talking about you can't stand the rain?
Yeah, man.
You can't stand the rain.
Shaq actually went platinum, double platinum on that, and I think Kobe tried to follow up, but Kobe wasn't.
Kobe. I don't know if you remember but Ron Artest dropped a CD.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and
that was trash.
It sold literally like 3 units the first week. It sold like almost no units.
He went on 106 to promote it, and I was like, bruh. Like,
he had that one song. That shit was terrible. So PNB Rock. I don't know if you listen to him, but he has an album coming out. I'm not interested in the least.
I hear PNB every now and again. I don't know the name of the songs, but I've seen them on Spotify whenever I was like, who is this? Like, oh, it's PNB. Like on the Most Necessary playlist I hear him like every now and again.
Jaden Smith is finally ready to put out his album.
I've been anticipating it, man.
I'm kind of anticipating. I don't know if you heard that song Batman, but that shit is hard.
Yeah, is that yeah, I heard Batman.
Yeah, that shit is hard.
So I also saw this video where he's like on top of the mountain. I forget what video that was, where he's like on top of a mountain or somewhere out there in the LA or whatever, where they have like a rugged area and he was like at the top and like the sun was setting. But yeah, this was when he still had dreads. In this picture, he has his haircut, and he has the blonde thing, so he's rocking the blonde Caesar in this picture.
Willow actually just put a CD out not too long ago.
Really,
too.
I whip my hair back and forth.
Yeah, I gave it the spin cycle treatment. How ready are we though for a T-Pain album?
I don't know, because is he doing auto-tune?
He's definitely doing auto-tune.
Okay, because I remember hearing him without auto-tune for the first time, and he's kind of like one of those guys like back at home, like at your home church.
Right.
Like no one else can really sing, but he has like the best voice. But outside of that, like he really is just an okay voice. He kind of reminds me of that.
You wouldn't be wrong to say that. So T Grizzly and Lil Durk, I don't give a fuck about them.
All right, so T Grizzly, man, I actually kind of like. I mean, his beats all sound the same, but and his flow is pretty much the same on each beat. But yeah, I'm actually anticipating that, man. I like T Grizzly, man.
All right. What about Tyler? How you feeling about a new Talib Kweli?
It's not for everybody, so I'm definitely gonna listen to it because I like lyrics. But I have to hear like a single. I don't even know if a single is already out.
Yeah, and the CD doesn't come out till the 17th. However, I will say that usually Kweli delivers. Eardrum I like, Beautiful Struggle of course, and damn, there was another one, but Beautiful Struggle and Eardrum. And there was another Talib that I really, really like. Hobson, even though he swore up and down he was retiring, I guess is coming back with another CD where he's dissing everybody and nobody's going to listen to it again.
I guess, man. That album was called No Shame, so we'll see what it's about. It's pretty interesting that to see that album cover, kind of, he's channeling his inner Kanye in a way, man.
Right.
Because Kanye would do something like this.
And I'm going to skip this Rex Life Rash. I don't even know who the fuck that is. But these two albums, I got something to say about both of them. So first we'll talk about the album that's never coming out, Freddie vs. Jason. I guarantee you.
With Fabulous and
Right.
Jadakiss.
And that's supposed to come out the 24th, which I think is Black Friday.
Yes, that is.
Right, I'm pretty sure that's Black Friday.
That is definitely
so
Black
supposedly Jadakiss and Fab got a CD, Freddie vs. Jason. I don't believe it's coming out.
Why?
They've been teasing it for a while, and I just feel like, first of all, Jadakiss is way past his prime.
Pretty old.
He can still lay down a clean verse or two here and there. Fab, I don't know. I thought that he was done, but Young OG project, I still listen to it. I still listen to Young OG. That shit still slaps, and even after that, the Friday Night Freestyle. So Fab kind of worked his way back into.
Was that like 2 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah, Friday Night Freestyles, like when he was coming out with shit like every Friday, like that was actually really dope.
I'll love it if the album does come out. Recently, Offset, 21 Savage, and Metro Boomin just put out a album, and it wasn't bad. It was I think they put it out last Friday. Without Warning.
Yeah, I think that's been out for a while. To be honest with you, yeah,
it's been out for a while.
I think that's been out for like a month because that definitely. I know they dropped a single.
Maybe they dropped a new. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I only just heard it.
It's okay for me, man.
It was like 3 songs on there I like.
Yeah, like Metro Boomin, I love him to death, man. But when you're dealing with the same artist on that type of artist on those type of albums, man, it gets kind of. You just get lost in the sauce after a while, man. Everything just kind of sounds the same,
right? Because
they're rapping the same. So, but shout out to Metro Boomin, man.
Right. Now in this last album, and I'm probably out of gas after this, but this is important because Starley is actually putting out an album.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the Truth, Shame the Devil, Volume 1. It's more of an EP.
I never heard of Starley, so please inform me.
Well, Starley's from Ohio.
Okay.
That's one thing you should know. He's from Ohio.
Okay.
He reps Ohio to the death.
All right.
But he signed to MMG.
It sounds like MMG.
No, he signed to
MMG.
he
signed to MMG. Okay.
Right. But he's one of the artists that Rick Ross doesn't really give a fuck about.
Kind of like, I kind of feel the same about Wale. Like, Wale is kind of like falling on the wayside.
Well, and that leads into my final point of the evening.
All right, here we go.
It is, without question, completely over for MMG as a label in music. They've done nothing but flop. for the better part of 5 years.
I would say
Rick Ross is done,
Rick Ross is the only one really.
and he's done.
He's the only really one really doing it. I mean, you have Meek Mill,
but no one's invested in Meek anymore. And he definitely he lost. He likes to dance around the L's that he's taken, but he lost. The Drake situation was an L.
The Safari situation was an L on both sides too. I mean, it was
Safari situation was an L. The Nicki situation was an L. The jail situation was an L. Several situations he was in where he had beef with people, and he keeps thinking, "Oh, I'm a street nigga, and you this and you that," but he came across looking very, emotional and weak,
like a bitch,
and just like a bitch,
pretty much a bitch,
just like a bitch. But it's not just him. First of all, MMG as a whole is just done. Then they're incapable of producing any more music at a level that you maybe expected from them 10 years ago.
Wingstop wings all the fucking time, man. It's like, make some fucking music.
Right. Rick Ross is done. He hasn't had a hit song in a good minute. But I do also want to say, and I said I was going to end it there, but I do also want to say that the run is also over for Young Money, Cash Money.
Oh, man.
The run is over.
As far as the whole, I don't know. I don't know, man.
It's when the last time you heard Drake on the radio?
Drake just came out with what you call it?
What? More Life?
Yeah, More Life.
Just came out, huh?
Just came out. Actually, More Life is actually almost a year. Damn.
Right.
Damn. Right. It's been a minute for
It's
Drake.
been a minute.
All right, so
it's been. I mean,
the window is like what, a year?
What, for who?
Just for like artists to come out, because DMX. I remember when he was hot, he was just dishing them out like.
Well, I mean, for somebody of Drake's caliber, he had a chokehold. He was on top for about 6 years, but for about the better part of 10 years, he's been in the conversation.
I still think he has fire, bro.
He has fire, yes.
I still think he's gonna have fire. And Nicki Minaj somehow, some way, is still gonna stay relevant, but
because it's really got much to do with her ass and the people that she knows. Her friends are now bailing her out.
Yeah,
all her high profile friends are now getting that verse from Nicki that you couldn't get a few years back. Now you can get it because I need this to stay hot.
I wonder what's gonna happen between her and Cardi B, seeing that Cardi B is like the hottest thing out right now.
Some fake beef will come out because and when Nicki was going at Lil Kim, basically saying all the same things like, you washed up, I'm this, I'm that, because Nicki, for as many accolades as she has, I'm trying to think, I'm pretty sure she has no number ones.
I don't know. I would have to do research
on
that. But
supposedly Cardi B was the first female artist since Lauryn Hill to have a number one solo song. You know what I'm saying? Like Nicki might have a song with Drake or Rihanna or Wayne.
Yeah,
you know,
she has a lot of features. She's not really by herself on her hit songs.
Or Kanye, she might have a song with one of them.
She's not by herself.
Where it's possible it's number one, but as a solo artist. It ain't been since Lauryn Hill, and now we have Cardi B, who's catapulted herself, and it's because we're really I really do think that people eventually get tired of seeing the same people win. It's no different than LeBron and Michael, and we'll see Steph and KD enter into this in like another 3 years, but
let somebody else have it.
Yeah, like we get tired, like we are done, Nicki. We're tired of talking about you. We don't care.
Damn.
And you got a fat ass, yeah, sure, but so does fucking Bundle of Britney. And so does fucking, Cardi B.
Yeah.
All these other people, like,
it's your wave is now over.
It's over.
Somebody else.
It's over. And I mean,
feel you.
At this time, it's time for her to respectfully bow out. It's time for a lot of cats to respectfully bow out. Like, you can't hang on forever. Like, some people, they don't hit that second win until, like, 2 Chainz, he was in his later 30s by the time he, like, blew up and arrived. But we've been dealing with Wayne since he was 17 years old, almost 20 years later, probably more than 20 years.
But still, man, if Wayne called me today and was like, yo, I like that beat, bro, let me get on. I mean, I'm going to.
Because you got hope. But
true.
That's because he could, really what Wayne should do is retire.
Nah, I don't think Wayne.
He should retire. He should quit and never release the Carter 5.
How old is Wayne?
Wayne's he's got to be 39. He's got to be almost 40 years old by now.
All right, so
he should never release the Carter 5.
Should it really just be about age is when you should retire? Because, I mean, let's talk about Jay-Z.
I wouldn't say that, but what's going to happen is, and Wayne's not my favorite, but I will say this, that eventually he loves to build up buzz for his projects. And a lot of times the buzz I think that this particular time, the buzz is way too big to deliver. He has to deliver a classic masterpiece. And we're talking about a post Good Kid, Mad City world. Like a collection of songs can't just get it for you no more. Mm-hmm. You now got to fucking switch the flow 4 times on the same song.
Right.
And you got to have all these intricate beats and thoughts and this is that and third. I mean, like, look what Jay-Z had to fucking admit to cheating to just to compete. Like, he had to admit to all he had to air his own dirty laundry.
Definitely.
Just to fucking compete, because now you have to really bare your soul on this shit.
Right.
So him coming out talking about how G's moving in silence like lasagna, like that might have been fine last time, but it's not going to work this time. It's not. So I think that him personally, he can save his legacy by retiring and never he can drop songs.
True.
He can do features. But he cannot put out the Carter 5. He cannot put out. He should not put out the Carter 5. He can keep putting out mixtapes and getting on other people's beats.
Right.
But he cannot put out the Carter 5. He will destroy his legacy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel like the anticipation, just the build up, like
it's too much.
Even with Dr. Dre, I remember when he was supposed to come out with Detox and everything. Everybody was expecting Detox. Detox was a failure to me because, I mean, he always said, "Look out for Detox." He even said that, like in "I'm gonna take you higher" in that game song.
Yeah, he
and it was like,
been
all right,
saying,
Detox?
"Look out for Detox."
But Detox ain't never gonna come.
And no, he canceled it. It's done. It's never coming. Just like Venom. Venom not on the way. And you know what, man? I scoured the internet looking for a clip of this motherfucker saying Venom on the way. That was another one of those episodes that was really late. That was another time I got hung up. I mean, I spent 2 days looking for a clip of this nigga Chameleon there saying Venom on the way. One of those songs. And he said it all the fucking time.
Chameleon is somewhere sitting courtside investing in pretty much the small startup companies in Southern Cal and even Northern Cal, especially in like San Francisco area.
Right.
But yeah, he's not making any more music. He's not making any more. But I mean, so, like, what about artists like Waka Flocka? You know what I'm saying? He's not really making albums, but he's doing a lot of tours. So, could Lil Wayne possibly still make some money off these tours and everything?
He could definitely go on tour. He could go on tours and perform the Carter 1, 2, 3, and 4, and he can do all his other stuff.
True.
But as far as dropping that Carter 5, I don't think he should do it. I definitely don't think he should do it. But what I do know, I'm out of gas.
All right, man.
I'm out of gas. How about you? Did you have anything you want to add?
Nah, man. That's pretty much it, man. Just you guys keep listening, keep looking out for, updates. We'll be sure to update you guys on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and SoundCloud. So,
all right.
Definitely keep us in mind, yo.
For sure. Remember those announcements made coming to iTunes, Ugly Sweater Party, some other announcements we made over the course of the episode.
Yeah. So just again, comment, like, share, all that good shit.
All that good shit, man. Like us on Instagram and SoundCloud, The Verdict Podcast. Comment, rate, review, share. Man, y'all fucking turn up, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Talk to us, man.
Yeah, y'all turn up. Y'all talk to us, man, because we way more interesting than, them other guys that do it. And it's just the quality over here is just way nicer. Like a lot of guys, they don't even. When I'm listening to the playback, I'm like, Jesus, you couldn't have fucking done a little bit of editing. You don't want to turn us up a little bit.
Something.
You don't want to fucking take out some of the like and people don't realize, man, like how intricate. Like I was telling you earlier, like with the cover art for Sly Guy Returns, like, and I went on Googled the word crafty, like this shit don't just be fucking random. Like if y'all listen to it and watch it, you know what I'm saying, there's more to what's going on. So hopefully when we make the jump to iTunes, You know, we'll get more people, you know, talking and you know, interacting. So, you know, we like it. Hit us up. You know, if you guys do something, let us know, and because we want to talk to you. We want to link. We want to work. We want to make some money. So, we'll keep you posted next week. I got somebody special coming next week. Next week. I have the person I would love to sit in that chair permanently.
Hey, word.
But that's not gonna happen.
Oh no.
But I can get it. I can get her for 1 week.
Do we gotta Uber her every time to get over here? Like, yo.
I just don't think we can afford her.
Nope.
But next week we're gonna have the person that I would love sit in that chair every single week.
Okay.
But you know, I do know she's deep in like PR and you know, this is actually was the young lady who was assisting me originally with
word.
So I booked her for next Monday, next day we record.
Yeah.
And so she'll be here next week.
All right. Cool.
So and I told her to, you know, put together a list of things that our fans would benefit to hear. So next episode, make sure you got your pens and paper, you know, ready to take notes.
Got it.
Just sit there and take notes. Other than that, we out of here.
All right, one.
Yo.